In this section, we're going to talk aligning with the designs of social media and digital platforms. This is a useful skill to understanding what is social media, is being able to study how the platforms and tools are actually designed. This lets us better understand what these many touch points can let us and its users do. After all, these tools are all products themselves that their own organizations tailor to fit needs. You need to know the sites and how they're likely to change. So, a big part of design is anticipating the behavior of different actors, thereby letting us design how we can use spaces, whether physical or digital, to promote the right experiences. So, good design anticipates and guides behavior. So, this is from your interactive marketing chapter, 18 or 21, depending on your edition. A key element to design is anticipating the user to better set that stage for better user experiences. Think of the sites you visit. How does it fit your needs? Is it a better fit with your lifestyle? Is it great content? Is it that it's just easier to use on your mobile phone when you actually have a spare moment? Is it a matter where the people you actually like to talk to or listen are on there? Does it happen to just be the first site you use and it's good enough versus looking around for another? So the book covers a sampling of social media sites. The idea is to see how each site's design influences the use it fosters and the type of actions marketers can therefore take. So I'm not interested in you memorizing every detail. Those change. What I do want you to do is practice analyzing social media platforms and other tools for opportunities. So, how is the site designed and structured? What types of users are there? What can many actors, like users, the social media site operators, and other stakeholders like advertisers, actually do with the site? And what will they do? And now, more importantly than ever, really, how is that set to change? So you can consider this, for example. When I mean site design, it's how do you make an account? Who's on there? What information about yourself are you asked to disclose? What are the privacy settings? Who can contact whom? Are there options to upload pictures or video? How? What support is there for offline use? So, for example, video hosting and sharing site YouTube includes a mix of trending videos and recommended videos for logged in users. Types of users. Who is on there? Is your target market actually on the site, and how will you reach them? Types of users will also influence how they interact with each other and how they might interact with your content. For example, sites like Twitter or Facebook are more general use or general interest. Other sites promote a more specific focus, which means different users. So Pinterest is a crafting and stuff I want to buy, visually oriented site with a primarily female user base. And don't think just demographics when you think users, think about behavior. For example, certain sites or spaces like 4chan and certain subreddit communities may condone or even encourage users to be a bit rough on each other. And again, what will actors actually do or can do even? Just because you can upload pictures or fill in space for languages you speak does not mean a user will do it. So a major consideration, therefore, is knowing more about the actual norms of the site. What do users expect to do or see? For example, many sites have recently incorporated more short-form video with the popularity of TikTok. Tumblr users strongly appreciate a feed that is purely chronological and shows the whole conversation chain versus an algorithmic feed or only one part of the conversation. Underlying all of this is anticipating change to the user population, behavior, and site design. The next bunch of slides go over examples of site design and user community operations. So to sum up, your goal is to practice how to review a social media site or other digital tool to see how it can be integrated into your marketing plans. Things change fast enough. You want to be able to analyze what it is and what could be. So user participation and content is the lifeblood that powers social media sites, but the way these digital platforms are actually designed and built, affects what opportunities they possess. So like any retail space or space in general, they're built. Their architecture influences what communities take hold and the nature of the content traded about. So think public versus private. Who has privileges to do what? What kinds of membership? Is it anyone with an email? Anyone with a professional reason? Do you have to know a member in good standing? So Facebook at first required a Harvard email and then a .edu address so that you had to be affiliated with the college. There may be rules where you can only see 18 plus content if you're logged in or on the app, but not the web page. Next, who has access to private information and what can they actually post? So what type of control or relative access is there? Are there limited ways of finding people? Are failed connections penalized? Are there restricted interactions? Some sites may allow you to have multiple faces. Instagram encourages both separate accounts and you can do things like a close friends list. And linked to that is the idea of your ability to control your own surroundings, your privacy controls, your customization. How much control does the user have to determine their privacy or customize their page? Can they use third-party applications? For example, a site may require the dashboard or wall to be displayed in a certain way. Many sites are placing stronger pressure that users must sign up for an account to view content, even if the user, like a fire department, wants anyone to be able to see the announcement. And so platform design can do a lot to suggest what types of things should be posted. So for example, text boxes suggest more freedom of choice or expression, while a list means you have to pick from predetermined categories. And you can consider, well, what types of the person is actually encouraged. So LinkedIn's resume format encourages a more formal structure and more professional entries. Meanwhile, what type of affirmation or verification is actually required? So does the site require your real name? Will they delete posts if you use a fake name? Kinja's suite of sites allows what's called burner accounts if you want to post anonymously as a one-off versus a full sign-up or linking to existing accounts and names. Another part, what settings are made the default options for viewing and posting? Meanwhile, linked to this is that sites can encourage certain people and relationships, not just what they can do, but what it actually boosts. So for example, what is the welcome or onboarding process like for new users to the app or social media site? Are current users encouraged to be welcoming to new users? What's on the front page and what tools are highlighted or easy to use? How do they display content recommendations? So the types of people you connect with may matter, such as how Facebook is pretty flexible about who you friend, while LinkedIn wants to categorize how you know the person by role. Snapchat, well, they purposely delete the messages after the recipient views it. Before it was shut down, Yik Yak purposely let you post things that could only be seen by people that were physically nearby. Vine specialized in 6-second long videos that would loop. And today, TikTok short form video lets you post 15 seconds to about 3 minutes and has tools to combine and overlay videos and encourages music and stories. Nextdoor has an invite system that encourages sending invites only to geographic neighbors by asking you to select based on street address. So, take a step back. How does your favorite social media site or a particular app you like make it easier for you to do certain things over others? So to sum up, the way digital tool and platforms are built influences who you will get and what they will do. So just another example, old time Facebook, you can see I threw in JOY, joy, and it starts giving me people I probably know based on mutual friends and school affiliations. It also started showing me fan pages at the time. Here was LinkedIn at the time. LinkedIn provided certain types of professions and profession-related searches to help you find people related to you professionally. Here I typed in one of the marketing academics, and as you can see, LinkedIn is trying its best to figure out what Jonah Berger is best suited. However, just because they're out of your network doesn't mean that you can't connect. I could still connect to Jonah unless I click I don't know Jonah, and then you get a dialog box that suggests you should not connect and links you to their explanation. So to sum up, notice how social media can greatly influence the way its users connect and the way we can connect with them. Here's another example. Poster Fira Wren provides an example comparing the traditional Tumblr layout on the left, where the original post and chain of replying posts, reblogs, are all immediately visible. On the right is the collapsed conversation view that Tumblr staff is considering. Tumblr wants to mimic what new users may expect and can implement this as a default setting or even require this view. Poster Fira Wren writes to Tumblr staff and seeks the wider current Tumblr audiences to discuss how the design change could impact use and subsequent user community ethos and practices. So you can see other elements as well. So say the actions down here. You see words in blue to show hyperlinks, follow a new Tumblr blog, or to show the full thread, to expand the thread. There's dates and more. And you can see how the @staff mention is a tag that lets the staff account knows you are trying to flag their attention. So just an example of how things like default settings, feedback, and post layout can make a difference. Let's talk app design. So unlike the web browser that takes you everywhere, apps are designed to be good at particular actions and good at facilitating particular experiences. So there's lots of resources on the page and in the notes on good app design practices and how we go about it. So here's some key ideas. First, you want to think needs. What needs are involved for what segments? What is their customer journey? For example, the National Park Service app has an offline mode because they recognize customers are at places that won't always have data. Then you want to consider your role. How does each spot facilitate what they want to do, think, or feel? So these wireframes here help you plan out button to button, spot to spot along different customer journeys where does each nudge you could do take place. Impact. For apps, they're meant to be more seamless and simple to the experience, unobtrusive. The for them here is especially to remind you that it's a balance we face, is that while we're an invisible helper to their practices, we still try to personalize as best we can. So in sum, good strategies consider how apps are designed as well. This lets us better anticipate how they fit into customers' lives and therefore how we can nudge them along the customer journey. Now let's turn to how we'll actually align. So rolling back to our big theme, we must anticipate user behavior to better become a part of what they're actually doing. And so we have to figure out where they're at and how they'll find us. So previously, computers were pretty good at using text-based, and they were heavily text-based. So keywords, hashtags, categories, search engine optimization. Today, tech has come a long way, where we can search through more kinds of media, images, sounds, we know how to use natural language, and there's a better collection and predictive algorithms for gauging the user's context and history, so what they're likely doing now and where they've been. Keep in mind though, algorithms can sort data, but it does not understand the content as we do. We have to actually set and determine categories or guide how the algorithm adjusts based on what kinds of user data are there. So a classic history example were movie recommenders, so Cinematch. Netflix even had a contest to figure out anomalies like Napoleon Dynamite. So to sum up, we have better predictive tools, but they only go so far. So let's dig in. Let's talk about how we better match up and be found by users. So we must first learn the big picture. This is your classic target marketing. What characteristics or needs make up their persona? What is their customer journey like? And then where are they actually right now? What matters to them right now? How are they actually problem solving right now? Google calls these micro moments to suggest an opportunity where the customer is motivated to take action, right for someone like you to connect. So then, next we ask, so what? How do these needs actually manifest into action? So what are they doing to actually search or learn? Google has done well trying to get people to consider handy phrases like adding near me from simply typing coffee to coffee brewers near me. And so knowing this will allow us to adjust our digital strategies to be what, how, and where they want us. What would make us relevant? Are we appealing to their senses? Are we fast and easy loading? An important part and point is to match up with the customer, to go with the flow, as we'll say, of what they need. Please note there's also a special flow state where they're super engaged because it's just the right level of challenge, ease, and emotional fulfillment. To sum up, our design must account for our users' needs, both as the whole customer and what they need from you right now. So we often do ongoing research to collect data and find out about their customer journeys. So for example, how are they thinking about their needs? Many of us have a focal product, but we need to take the next step. Not just any shoe repair or BBQ grill, but what? What about them? What should they be able to do with them? What action to take? This is where things like what they're actually looking for can help. An example from our segmentation chapter. Long tail keywords. Long tail keywords are those where fewer people are searching for them, but they're more likely our target market. So you can consider keyword pet stuff versus keyword wearable pet gifts. So what we find is time, history, and context are very helpful to defining behavior, seeing where they're from, so traffic source, insight traffic patterns, how long do they stay, where they navigate next on a page, the characteristics of the user, etc. We like to visually display these in charts or things like word clouds. And here, qualitative research really tends to shine here too. Find out how customers are actually talking or thinking about you. And today, it's great. We're better able to use not only text, but more kinds of multimedia. This one's an example of optimizing images. So to sum up, remember that customer journey. Track those contextual factors, those customer factors, and find out what's actually relevant to them to be found. On the flip side, you must also cater to the digital platforms, search engines, or other third-party providers. Even if there's an eager market looking for you, you have to work with the social media platform, search engine, or digital entities setup and systems. So first, consider the search engine or platform's goals. So Google wants to serve up relevant information and sustainably connect advertisers to users. Instagram, they want user engagement through videos, images, and connection. And of course, to sustainably connect content creators, advertisers, and influencers with audiences and with each other. Number 2, next you need to figure out what does the tool or platform actually prioritize. So Google gauges usefulness through the EEAT model. They want you to be a relevant, useful page where there's likely an actual person behind the content. They want it tailored for an audience and not just tailored for the search engine alone. Instagram matches up content and user data, such as user-creator relationship, interests, so past user behavior, and relevancy, larger community trends, age of post. They want to ensure that influencers, advertisers, and audience are aligned. And Instagram is trying to boost now more videos versus picture posts and letting users discover new things, for example. So it's time to take action. Google, you'll be looking at things like your pages your page titles, your URL text, what's in your opening paragraphs, what are your headings, your image alt text, who's linking to you, likelihood it's relevant, and again, hints that you're real and authentic. No invisible list of keywords here. They'll also check if your data is refreshing once in a while and how easy your pages are to load. They want to see that other places link and mention your brand. So are you real? Do you work? And now to Instagram. Each part of Instagram uses its own algorithm to rank. Ideally, the content produces some kind of engagement at particular rates. So stories are centered on viewing history, engagement history, and closeness, whether the poster and you are actually likely a friend or family member. Meanwhile, Reels, it's similar, but more likely to show you someone you don't have a relationship with or you haven't seen before. So you want to have a strong audience in mind for the combination of video and image, captions, hashtags, interactivity that will make them actually engage and do an engagement action. So to sum up, there's lots of great information out there and checklists out there. What you want to do is to figure out what you want your audience to do, and this will help you better align with users and the platform. Here's an example of search. You can see with this example, customer search engines aren't always aligned. So what types of words seem to signal what? So board books started as my broad category, and then the algorithm tried to predict as I typed, and it made suggestions. You can see that there are sponsored entries based on keyword. So you can notice that there is a carousel format, which is intuitively appealing to navigate on a touchscreen, and then you find the organic results later. The Goodnight Moon box was pulled from a website that suggested the 30 best board books for babies. And then people also searched for bar carousel that person can swipe to navigate after it. The mix of sponsored paid listings and more organic listings aims to balance the needs of both searchers and advertisers. For mobile, Google prioritizes fast loading pages given the average uses for someone on mobile. They used to prioritize what was called AMPs, accelerated mobile pages, but they're not really a thing anymore. Mobile design has since caught up where AMP is not necessarily faster. People like richer pages, and so any of them are more likely to be the rich results in carousel items. So when typing in board books for 1-year-old and then adding S, the auto suggestion was sensory and skateboard for some reason, not science. And you can see how science seems to be lacking, but that geeky seems to be more in use. It's very much an iterative process for both searcher and organization to find each other. So to wrap up, here's an activity. Choose a website or social media site or an app or whatever that you've done before. Next, compare it. Compare a couple of them. And consider what's going on. What kind are they? What elements do they have? What does it look like? What types of items are on them? How are they arranged? What actions can you take? What seems easier to do? What does it encourage you to do? What kind of elements do you see? Banner ads, a logo, site's color and aesthetics? What kind of content marketing is there? So let's go ahead and pause. Just for fun, this is TVTropes, as you can see. So TVTropes is a wiki that catalogs storytelling devices found in media. We see, again, their logo. We see banner ads. Apparently Disneyland is advertising to me. Sometimes we'll see the same ads. Sometimes we'll see different ads over here. Call to action buttons, colors, links to other social media sites down here, like Reddit, Facebook. You can see it's primarily text, but with some pictures and video. Layout is used to help categorize sections. You have little buttons here for options, and then you can notice that they have options if you're looking for a very specific trope right now, or if you're just willing to explore. And most of the time, if you're on a home page, you're willing to just explore. So you can search bar, and then you can see these buttons also help to explore. So you can click on it, and it'll take you to a random media or random trope. So very open-ended because they anticipate a curious user or perhaps someone who stumbled upon them. All right, so I encourage you, go ahead, check out and really take a look at a platform, an app, or a tool that you use and really look how it's built. See what it's doing to encourage the types of user experiences it wants out of the users. And so, with that, I hope you're having a good day or evening so far. Take care out there. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me.